Yo, what's good, man? It's your boy DT3, man, and I'm back at you with another video, man. New media, notification gang. God Squad. That's what it is, man. Look, check this out. You know, I've been watching a couple of these videos, man, on the tube last couple days. I just saw the little fight hype in. Well, I didn't just see it. I saw it a while back. I just didn't get to make a video about it. But I just saw the video recently about Devin Haney, you know, saying what he got to do to get this Kambosos fight. And I got to give this man props because that's what you're supposed to do.
What?
That's what you're supposed to do. All right? He already got money. So it ain't about the money. It's about the legacy. And even still, it's not like the motherfucker not finna get hella money anyway. And what's making it even more of an insult is that a lot of y'all is talking mad trash about Devin Haney because he willing to take the pay cut. He willing to give Kambosos whatever he want to give him. He willing to fight him in his own backyard. All that. Because he want to be undisputed. He not making no excuses. He ain't cutting no corners. He ain't doing none of that. It's like, okay, Kambosos, I want the undisputed fight. Well, you got to come out to Australia. You got to take a pay cut. You got to do this. Do that. I want to fight. That's what, at the end of the day, I want the fight. So if that's what I have to do, if I have to make certain sacrifices to get these fights, then that's what I'm going to do. Because at the end of the day, I make these sacrifices and I win this fight, then I call the shots. I dictate all the action that goes on out here. Not nobody else. I do. So I'm not mad at Devin Haney for the way he going about this shit. Just like I'm not mad at Boo Boo Andrade for how he going about trying to get a Canelo fight. Because it was all good, like I said in my previous live stream. It's all good when Teofimo Lopez wins his belts, not belt, belts, plural. He wins his belts, and he could talk about moving up. He not talking about really defending this shit for real, for real. The only reason why he fought Kambosos was because it was IBF mandatory. If he did not have a mandated fight, I trust and believe, bro, Teofimo Lopez probably wouldn't have fought since he fought fucking Vasily Lomachenko. He probably would have ended up making some type of excuse saying he's too big for 35 and ended up moving up and vacating all his belts and probably fighting at 140. I know some people are going to say, well, at least T.O. fought his mandatory. He didn't vacate his belts before he fought Kambosos, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I give you that. You can have that. I'm not going to argue that. But I'm still not mad at Boo Boo Andrade for saying at the end of the day, I want Canelo fight. I want to fight the best fighters. And I want to put myself in position to fight the best fighters. The dude that was my mandatory is technically, in his personal humble opinion, is not considered to be one of the best fighters on the planet. And quiet as kept, he not. So, for him to say, you know what, I ain't tripping on my mandatory. I want to fight Canelo's mandatory so I can get a Canelo fight. I'm not mad at that. I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that at all. There's nothing wrong with a fighter doing what he got to do to get the fights that he wants. Y'all shit on a lot of fighters because they willing to do what a lot of fighters won't do. A lot of these fighters they not finna fight these dudes. At the end of the day, Devin Haney and Andre Ward both said it themselves, two town niggas. Shout out to my city. Both told y'all, these fights are not hard to make. If these fighters and or promoters want to make these fights can be made. The problem is, don't nobody want to make these fights either because the fighter is afraid to take an L, an embarrassing loss, meaning he might get knocked out, stopped, whatever the fuck. Or the promoter don't want to take the L because that may be his cash cow. That might be the fighter that's bringing in him a lot of revenue. So he might not want to take the risk in losing his money. But at the end of the day, it's all about money, pride, and ego while we're not seeing the best fight the best. But I got to give a special shout out and salute to Devin Haney for putting it out there that at the end of the day, if you really want these fights, if you really want to fight these dudes, you will put yourself in position. You will make certain sacrifices that you need to make these fights happen. Period. And anything else is a duck. If a person has the opportunity to make a fight happen, a major marquee fight happen, and for whatever reason, that fight does not happen, that's a duck. It's a duck. If you had the opportunity to do it and you didn't do it for whatever reason, oh, was it this much? Oh, they're not going to pay me this. They're not going to do this. Blah, 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 blah. But it's what everybody want to see. It's a major fight regardless. It's a duck. Cut the check. Devin Haney just cut all excuses for all fighters that's making these excuses about why they not trying to fight, why they think they should fight this person over that person, why this person, oh, he worth more, he worth this. Meanwhile, how you gonna talk about a certain fighter being worth more, but at the same time, you ain't even in that fighter's division? And y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Jamal Charlo and Canelo. But anyway, that's another video for another day. But salute to you, Devin. Thank you for showing the world that the major marquee fights can happen. Thank you for showing us that these fighters have to make sacrifices if we are going to see these major marquee fights happen. Some of these fighters are going to have to take a pay cut, because that's what Devin Haney is doing. He's taking a pay cut because he wants his name to be in the record books. Your name is not going to be in the record books, bro, as far as trying to get a financial gain, because ain't none of these fighters finna outsell Floyd Money Mayweather. So as far as these dudes trying to get money, y'all not finna break the bank. Because the only fighter that I know of throughout boxing history to break the bank is Floyd Money Mayweather. And you sons of hoe bitch ass fighters ain't them type of dudes to break the bank in the game today. So as far as I'm concerned, y'all not finna make no Guinness Book of World Records of making more money than Floyd. That's not gonna happen. So at the end of the day, what you fighters should be doing is what Devin Haney is doing right now, being willing to take a pay cut, being willing to do whatever he has to do to become undisputed so he can be in the record books and he can be in part of the history of the sport of boxing. That's what this is about. That's what you get in the game for, to be remembered 20, 30, 40 years from now. If we look at these fighters today and we go 20, 30, 40 years from now, what are we going to say about these dudes? If all these fighters were to retire today, 10, 20 years from now, it is literally only going to be a handful of fighters that we're going to say that actually kind of did this shit the right way or how it's supposed to be done in the sport of boxing. Only a handful. And guess what? The handful of fighters that we can mention that actually was willing to do the shit the right way get the most scrutiny today. The fighters that's really wanting to fight, motherfuckers, the fighters that's really willing to do whatever, make all the sacrifices that they need to make these big fights happen, those fighters are getting the most scrutiny. They're getting the most hate. So basically, you casual bitch-ass boxing fans, y'all hate real fighters. Y'all hate real fighters. Y'all hate dudes that really will pull up on you and see you. Y'all don't like that. Y'all don't like that. You hated on Anthony Joshua. He willing to fight everybody. Hated on Terrence Crawford. Willing to fight everybody. Hated on Boo Boo Andrade. Willing to fight everybody. Willing to fight everybody. Hell, even Tank Davis. He willing to fight everybody. He just under Floyd Mayweather, who won't let him fight nobody. That's not under the PBC banner. So, all this hate for fighters that want to fight everybody, and y'all making all these excuses, he not a draw, he don't sell, he don't this, he don't do that. Y'all cap. You promoters is cap. You fighters is cap for that. Real talk. Because then what's going to happen is, like I told y'all before, that's why I don't make videos for every little thing. I make a video, I say what I got to say, and that's that. You're going to have to go back and recap that bitch. But like I told you, somebody is going to have to come out the woodwork and show y'all that this is what you have to do if you want to be something in this game. Somebody got to do it. And right now, Devin Haney is doing it. Devin Haney is doing it. Vasily Lomachenko was going to be doing it before he went to war. Because he said he don't care who got the belts. I want whoever got the belts. It don't matter who got the belts. First it was Teofimo. Then when Teofimo lost to Cambosis, he said, F Teofimo. I don't want Teofimo no more. He don't got nothing I want. I ain't even tripping on the rematch with Teofimo no more. I want who got the belts. And you know who got the belts? George Ferocious Cambosis. So that's who Vasily Lomachenko was going after prior to him going to fight for his country. He was going after George Cambosis because George Cambosis has all the belts. That's what Vasily Lomachenko wants. That's what you're supposed to be about. It's about legacy. The money gonna come. Everybody know that. When you doing something that you love to do, the money gonna come. And in this day and age, it ain't like these fighters is broke. These fighters are getting millions of dollars upon millions. This era of boxing is the highest grossing paid fighters of all time in boxing. Look throughout the history of the sport of boxing. The fighters of today getting paid the most money. So all these excuses and all this that they making is cap. If these fighters, because it's the fighter's career, it's not the promoter, because the fighter can leave and the promoter just gonna go get another fighter. But it's the fighter's career. It's the fighter's decision. Deontay Wilder proved that. Because they told Deontay Wilder, no, you don't want to fight. He said, I want Fury. I want Fury. I want him. And they told Wilder, no, you don't want Fury, bro. You don't want him. He's like, F that. Give me Tyson Fury. And what did they do? They gave him Tyson Fury. For that, I respect Wilder. He said, that's who we wanted. He don't care about nothing else. I want him. That's that. Boom, 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 boom. And what happened? So that proves to you that the fighters are in way more control of their career because they're the ones that's getting in there, not the promoter. So you think the promoter got more say on what I do because I'm the one that's getting in there. I'm my lifeline. I'm the one that's putting my brain on the line. I'm the one that's putting my body on the line. Me, not you. So if anybody got to say so and who I'm willing to get in the ring with or who I'm willing to throw blows with, that decision should be mine and mine alone. Not yours. Because I'm the one that's got to deal with the broken ribs, the busted lips, the black eyes, the bruises, the bumps. I got to deal with that. You don't. So I should be able to pick and choose who punches and kicks or whatever the hell on me. That's just what it is. So any of these fighters that's acting like the promoter got so much more say-so than them is cap, bro. It's their decision, bro. It's their life. It's their body. It's their mind. Because at the end of the day, if any fighter gets beat the fuck up to the point where they brand is much, guess what the promoter gonna do? You know, it's a pleasure to work with you. You know, God bless you. I wish you nothing but the best moving forward. Blah, blah, blah. But tell you all that sweet stuff that they want to tell you. And then what they gonna do after? They gonna go and get them another cash cow or another fighter to try to make him or her a cash cow. And you just gonna be yesterday's garbage. Bottom line, what Devin Haney is doing is what you're supposed to do. If you really want to be about this undisputed stuff, getting all the belts, be a part of boxing history, that's what you do. All this, he don't sell, his profile not big enough. Bro, think about somebody saying that 20 years from now. Think about this. Because everybody already feel like Sugar Ray Leonard ducked, what the fuck is his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. Richard Pryor. Not Richard Pryor, Aaron Pryor. Everybody know he ducked Aaron Pryor, right? So imagine if he says, I didn't fight Aaron Pryor because his profile wasn't big enough. So here we are, 20, 30 years later. Oh yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard didn't fight Aaron Pryor because his profile wasn't big enough. Do you hear how that sounds? I'm not saying that's the reason, but I'm saying, do you hear how that sounds? 20, 30 years later. He didn't fight him because his profile wasn't big enough. He don't sell. But when you look at the man's career, the man was a hell of a fighter. Fought champions. Fought in a war. You know what I'm saying? Not in the actual war. I'm just saying what he fought with, I think it was Alexis Arguello, I think. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude was in major fights, bro. The dude wasn't no punk. He wasn't no sucker. He's a scrap. He could scrap. He could fight. So you didn't fight him because he wasn't popular enough? But the man could fight, though. Had a good record. Decent resume. Looking for you. Like, gunning for you. So, think about that in this era. 5, 10 years from now. Fighters don't want to fight each other because your profile isn't big enough. Not that you're not a good fighter. Not that you ain't never been a world champion. Nothing of that magnitude. Nothing like get a belt. Okay. And then when I get a belt, your profile not big enough. Think about that 20 years from now when we rewind the film. Why these fights didn't happen. Oh, you said get a belt. He got a belt. Still didn't fight him. Said his profile wasn't big enough. His profile got bigger. You said it wasn't bigger. It's not as big as yours. If it ain't one excuse, it's another. It's all scripted. It's a program. That's all it is. All these excuses are scripted. They already got a format. That's why they only do interviews with certain motherfuckers. Because they got a format. And if you go against the format, problem. But like I said, man, salute to Devin Haney, bro. You showing the world, the boxing world, that this is what you do. This is what you do. All that talking and he ain't this. Man, that's cap. If these fighters really want to fight, they're going to fight. And they're going to make certain sacrifices and the proper sacrifices that they need to make. Because bottom line, these dudes ain't broke like that. They lying, they acting like they press for dollars, and they not. But if you really want to make these fights happen, you're going to take a pay cut. You might have to take a million or two off. Or you might have to take an $800,000 paycheck or whatever. You might have to take a $500,000 paycheck. You might have to take that. But at the end of the end result, you win. Now you calling the shots. Now you dictating the pace of the action. That's what you do. You make the proper sacrifice to the end result, you being the man on top. That's why Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya and chose to be the B side, because he knew he beat Oscar, he's going to always be the A side. You can't dictate nothing to him at that point. That's what you're supposed to do. Floyd know what he doing. He don't want nobody to get to the Money Mayweather phase. He want them to think what they thinking. He don't want them to go through the Pretty Boy Floyd phase. Not because he worried about them getting brain damage. He don't want them to outdo him. It's a video for another day. Salute to you, Devin. 100.